Hey guys, it's time to answer all of the questions that you sent in for my Ask Katie video. Thank you so much for sending them in, and 4 of you sent in videos as well, so that's really amazing. I think I have over 50 questions that were sent in, so I'm going to be splitting this video into 2 parts so I have enough time to answer all of them. So if your question isn't answered in this one, it will be answered in the next one, which will be coming very soon. So the first question is from Larson Loves Natla, as well as Adam Dawson 01. What is your favorite Tomb Raider outfit from the classics and why? That's a lot of outfits to choose from. That's a hard question. I think I'll have to go with the black cat suit from Tomb Raider Chronicles. I love the look of it. It was very sleek and stealth-like, and I love the headset and the sunglasses with the infrared. I thought that was really awesome, and that you could actually use them in the level, so it wasn't just an accessory, it was used in the gameplay. And the outfit just screams, I'm about to break into this building and kick some serious ass outfit, so I really like that one. Next up, we have a question from 2489H Bradley, and he sent in a video.
Hey Katie, so my 2 questions are, what is your favourite Tomb Raider boss, and least favourite Tomb Raider boss, and what is your favourite Tomb Raider gold game?
So my favorite boss, I think, would be Boaz from the Angel of Darkness. She was the hardest boss, I think, in the entire series to beat, and it wasn't just shoot her and put her down, it was figuring out where to shoot on her, and so I really like that challenge. As far as my favorite gold game, I think Tomb Raider 2 The Golden Mask would be my favorite. The levels were amazing, and I think a lot of them could have been fit into Tomb Raider 2. They were that good, so my vote goes for that one. Next question is from Gladys Hates Cake. I like your name. Who do you think is the scariest baddie, Katie? So I think I'm going to have to go with Boaz again, or maybe Willard from Tomb Raider 3. Those were both really big baddies. They were hard to put down. Willard, I mean, he's a gigantic, big-ass spider chasing you around the room, trying to avoid lava, so those 2 I think would get my vote. Next question is from Janley Bao. Which did you feel were the most emotionally powerful moments in the Tomb Raider series? This is a really good question. I think the ending of the Angel of Darkness was very emotional and very powerful. The game had such a strong storyline, and it was all building up into this huge thing. And we're finally at the end, and we're having this beautiful cutscene, and the music and everything is so powerful. And Lara's walking to the exit, which is a black door, and it's just so powerful for a couple of reasons, because one, the game is finally over, but it's not actually over because we still don't have the whole story, so there's still a lot unexplained. And in another sense, because that really marked the end of Lara for core design. So knowing that, it also makes it very emotional. Another one would be during the cutscene in Tomb Raider Legend, when Lara is telling Amanda that every breath is a gift from her, and when she's screaming, "Where is my mother?" It seemed to have obviously a lot of anger in it, but it was also very, very powerful, and the voice acting was wonderful for that. Another one I can think of, which is maybe a little funny, the beginning of Angel of Darkness, when Lara's running from the police and the dogs snatch her backpack. That's her legendary classic backpack that she found when she was really little, so I think that was sad and also emotional as well. Next question is from James. I have heard you mention how you prefer the classic Tomb Raider games, which is something we have in common. There's one thing I've wondered for a long time, however. Did Crystal Dynamics scrap the entire previous Lara Croft story when they made Legend and Underworld? I understand they were a completely different development team, but do you think this was really necessary? Is there any connection between games 2 to 6 and the latest titles? So they didn't scrap everything entirely. They kept Winston and Zip from the classics, but to me they seem like different characters, so they really kept the bare bones, I would say, of what the classics were. They bashed her history in her new biography by calling it utter rot and total works of fiction. So I don't think it was necessary to change her biography, and I think they would have been more successful had they continued with the previous Lara, because now we're already into a second reboot from Crystal Dynamics. So I don't think it was necessary. Also, I think Lara seemed like a weaker version of herself in Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider games than the classics. I think we had a stronger, more powerful Lara in the classics than we do now. But in Tomb Raider Underworld, I think it felt a little bit more like the classics. They seemed to embody her a little bit better. Next question is also from James. I know we know very little about the third Tomb Raider reboot of the franchise, but do you think there is any chance of their team incorporating the adventures from the older games to connect these games at least 2 to 3? What about any possible remakes? It would seem that a remake of the second and third games could be highly feasible and possible. So, because they said forget everything you know about Tomb Raider, I really can't see them incorporating any of her past adventures into the new game. It is a reboot, so we're expected to scrap everything we know about her. So all of Crystal's games and Courtesan games, those didn't happen with this new reboot. So I can't see them wanting to remake any of the older games, and personally, if I was doing a reboot, I would shy away from doing remakes, because then you're tying into the old games again. And to me, it sounds like they just want to forget about them, pretend they never happened, and start over. Next question is from Curtis6, and he sent in a video.
Hi Katie. First of all, I love your website. It is a great resource. And I am in your forum. My nickname is Curtis6, so you know me. I have 5 little questions for you, so let's get started. And sorry for my bad English. I'm from Portugal. Question number 1. Crystal Dynamics has shown a gameplay demo for the Tomb Raider reboot on ET 2011. Have you saw it? What is your opinion about it? Question number 2. I know that Tomb Raider games made by Crystal Dynamics have some flaws, so if you met Daryl Gallagher, the current designer of Tomb Raider, what advice did you say to him to improve the gameplay? Question number 3. What do you think about the new Lara Croft 3D model of the reboot? Too younger, too old, what do you think? And what do you think about Tomb Raider the Angel of Darkness? And final question is, describe Tomb Raider in 1 word. I know, very hard. So, congratulations for your website, your forum, and your efforts to get a job in Crystal Dynamics. I read the report and I love it. So, see you later, and I hope that you can answer all my questions. See you later.
To see the gameplay footage at E3. I think it still needs a lot of work, so I'm glad it's still a year away from release. It kind of feels like Tomb Raider Legend to me in a way. The way she's being controlled and moving, it still really feels like Legend, so I think they need to work on that a little bit. Also, as far as the hints go, the hint system that they've incorporated, I know I'll be turning it off, because Tomb Raider for me was always about figuring out yourself and not having all these extra hints. Tomb Raider is not supposed to be an easy game. The voice acting I thought was good, but again, I think it needs work as well. A little too much grunting and groaning, and I know there were tons of topics on the forums making fun of it, so I think they still need to work on that a little bit. As far as Daryl, I would say look back at what made the classic so successful. We had big environments where we could get lost and we could explore anywhere we wanted to. We had challenging puzzles and a really great storyline. So I think going back to the basics and seeing what was so successful for the earlier games would help the future games as well. And what do I think about the new 3D model? I think she looks great. My only complaint though, I think her face looks a little more Asian. You know, she's British, she's not Asian, so that would be my only complaint, and I know a lot of people in the forums have been talking about that as well. So maybe tweaking it a little bit. And as far as what do I think about Angel of Darkness, I'm going to direct you to my first Ask Katie video because I answered that in depth there. And describing Tomb Raider in one word, incredible. So my next question is from Colin. Even though she hasn't been revealed yet, what do you think of Lara's new voice? Also, is your Tomb Raider 4 review coming soon? It's still too early to tell, though, with the positive reaction. Do you think it's possible Lara will once again regain her popularity when the next game ships? For instance, will she be iconic and commercially successful as she was in the 90s? So as far as the new voice actress, it has grown on me. At first I wasn't too sure, but now it seems to fit her a little bit better. It always takes a little bit of time to get used to new voice actresses, I find. I hope they tone down a bit on the grunting and groaning and all of that. I think it's a little excessive. And as far as my Tomb Raider 4 review, no, it's not coming soon just yet. Tomb Raider 4 is a monstrous game, so this one is going to take me a little bit longer than all the other ones to do my review for. And your last question, I think she can be as successful as she was in the 90s. That's pretty well up to the branding team, the marketing team, which is very tiny at Crystal. So I think it can be done, but it really falls into their hands, so we'll see. Next question is from Karim, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. My question is this: it's time for Lara to die forever. What kind of death scenario would you write and why? That is a tough question. You know, I've actually thought about this a little bit before. Let's say I decided I didn't want to write any more Tomb Raider stories. I was writing my last one, and maybe for the ending I wanted to kill her off. What would I do? I really can't answer that right now because that would take an incredible amount of thought and planning, and it would have to be something really big and meaningful. So unfortunately I can't answer that now, but if I ever decide to kill her off, you can read how I did it. Next question is from God Pointer. When is the next Tomb Raider review going to be? Soon, hopefully. Still working on it. Next question, Poke Warrior. I love how you seem so posh, just like Lara. My question for you, Katie, is if you could be in any of the Tomb Raider games, which game would it be, and would you be good or bad? Thank you for the compliment. I think Tomb Raider 3, breaking into a federal compound on a quad bike seems like a lot of fun. That's a total badass. Or maybe Tomb Raider 5, specifically the VCI headquarters levels. Guards, lasers, helicopter shooting at you. That sounds like a lot of fun. So I'd say either of those two. Next question, cue awkward noises. This is going to be difficult. If you could make any Tomb Raider game, what would it be about? Who would be the voice actress? Which Tomb Raider model would you use? What would it be called? And what people would be included? This sounds like an interesting question to me. I might answer it too. I love this question. So as far as the story goes, I would base it off of the story I'm currently working on, which I can't talk about just yet. I'd bring back Jonelle Elliott for the voice actress and Lara Weller for the model. I love those two. And Nathan McCree, I'd bring him back as well to help with the music. He is an amazing composer. And hopefully get another orchestra to play the score. That would be amazing. And as far as the team goes, I would like to bring some old core people back and mix them in with Crystal Dynamics. They both have different strengths in various areas, so I think mixing the team up would be pretty cool. And I'd also like to bring in some fans to help with the level design. There are so many talented fans out there. I've played a lot of fan levels, so I think having them come in too would be amazing. Really good question, I like that one. Next question is from DB94. Do you think the new Tomb Raider will go back to tombs and hard puzzles? I really hope so, because that's what made the classic game so amazing. I don't think we'll see any tombs in Tomb Raider 9. Hopefully Tomb Raider 10, 11, she'll go back to tomb raiding. but it seems to be more caves for Tomb Raider 9. And as far as harder puzzles, I really hope so. I'm rooting for it. We all remember the good old days. We always talk about, being stuck on a puzzle or not being able to find your way out of a location, being stuck for weeks and then finally getting it. So I hope it goes back to that for sure. Next question is from Barry Flap. Tomb Raider isn't just a game for us anymore. It has become a community, and as I understand it, you've made lots of friends and had lots of opportunities through this community. What would you say was your best achievement from this world? The Tomb Raider community is really awesome, and I'm so lucky to have so many friends all over the world that I can talk to about the game. I've never met any fans in person before, so the community for me has always been a way to connect with you guys and talk about the games and just have fun. And doing this has enabled me to have my website and do all the work that I do, and that has been a really big accomplishment for me. A lot of time goes into everything. So it means a lot that I have such a great amount of support from you guys. And without all of that, I would never have been asked to do the Tomb Raider documentary, so I have to thank you guys for all of your support, because that never would have happened, and I just feel really lucky that I have so many great friends from all over. Next up is from FTW Aiden, so I think that's for the win, Aiden. Dear Katie, since you don't like the way Crystal Dynamics has taken Tomb Raider and Lara as much as Core, what would you do to make the future Tomb Raiders more like Core's? So I kind of answered this earlier, definitely going back to the basics a little bit, just with the level design itself. We love having big environments to explore and getting lost and, going down tunnels to find dead ends and then having to come back. We really like that. It's, it's part of the adventure, so no invisible walls, and definitely make the levels bigger and non-linear. Also making the puzzles harder, and we don't want to solve it in 5 minutes, we want to be stuck on it for a little while, so I would think those two are the most important. Alrighty, next up is from Thomas Fusco321, hope I pronounced that right. Hi Katie, if you could be Lara Croft for a day, what would you do? This is an awesome question. I would head on over to Egypt, I think, buy a helicopter, make sure there's parachutes in it, because we always know what happens to the helicopters Lara flies in, and tour Egypt and do that for the day. And I think I would also get a quad bike, but get it decked out with some guns. I always thought that would be a great add-on for her quad bike, and maybe run some people over. Next up is from Jack MG62. Hi Katie, I love your stories and have read them several times. I was wondering, are you writing any more, and if so, can you give any details? I do have one in the works, but I'm taking a little bit of a break from writing right now to focus on other projects and things. It is there for when I'm ready to get back to it, so just keep checking my Twitter or my mailing list. Subscribe to that if you haven't. When I start writing again, I'll let everybody know. Alrighty, that is the first half of the questions for my Ask Katie. Thank you so much for sending them in. I love doing these type of videos. And my next one will be coming very soon, where I'll answer the other half of them. And we still have some really amazing questions to come and some more fan videos as well. So I will see you guys soon, and thanks again for sending all your questions.